Picture this: a bunch of world leaders sitting around a table trying to negotiate peace with Adolf Hitler. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. This is the story of appeasement, the strategy that was supposed to prevent war, but ended up paving the way for one of history's darkest chapters. The year is 1919. The Treaty of Versailles has just ended World War I. But instead of bringing lasting peace, it's left Germany bitter, broke, and looking for a comeback story. Fast forward to the 1930s, and that comeback has a name: Adolf Hitler. While Germany rebuilds its military in secret and Hitler preaches about Lebensraum, that's living space for the uninitiated, the rest of Europe is in denial. Britain and France, exhausted from the Great War, are desperate to avoid another conflict. And so, the strategy of appeasement is born. Appeasement is basically the diplomatic equivalent of, if we give the bully our lunch money, maybe he'll leave us alone. The idea was simple: give Hitler what he wants within reason and he'll calm down. But here's the thing: Hitler wasn't a within reason kind of guy. He had a checklist of demands, and Europe was about to start checking them off. First stop, the Rhineland, a demilitarized zone under the Treaty of Versailles. In 1936, Hitler marches his troops in, basically shouting, "What are you going to do about it?" The answer? Nothing. Britain and France do absolutely nothing. Why? Because they didn't want to risk a war. Plus, some leaders thought, maybe Hitler's got a point. The Treaty of Versailles was kinda harsh. This emboldened Hitler. It's like letting your dog steal a steak off the counter. Now they think the whole fridge is fair game. Next on Hitler's list, Austria. In 1938, he orchestrates the Anschluss, or union with Austria. No tanks, no battles, just a lot of propaganda and a warm welcome from some Austrians who believed in his vision. Britain and France? Still silent. Appeasement was alive and well. Then came the Sudetenland, a region of Czechoslovakia with a significant German-speaking population. Hitler claimed they were being mistreated, but let's be real, he just wanted the land. Cue the Munich Agreement of 1938, where British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain and French leaders agreed to let Hitler have the Sudetenland, as long as he promised this was his last territorial demand. Chamberlain returned to Britain waving a piece of paper and declaring, "Peace for our time." Spoiler, it wasn't. By March 1939, Hitler invades the rest of Czechoslovakia. Turns out, last territorial demand was just a polite suggestion in his eyes. At this point, Britain and France are like, wait a minute, maybe appeasement isn't working? The breaking point comes in September 1939 when Hitler demands the Polish Corridor, a strip of land separating Germany from East Prussia. This time, Britain and France draw a line in the sand. They guarantee Poland's independence, essentially saying, touch this and it's war. Hitler, never one to back down, invades Poland on September 1st, 1939. 2 days later, Britain and France declare war. Just like that, World War II begins. So, what went wrong? For starters, appeasement underestimated Hitler's ambitions. He wasn't looking for a compromise. He wanted domination. Second, it relied on the hope that Hitler would play by the rules. Spoiler, dictators don't do that. Finally, it sent the message that Britain and France were unwilling to stand up to aggression, which only encouraged Hitler to push further. In hindsight, appeasement looks like a colossal mistake. But at the time, it wasn't so black and white. The scars of World War I were still fresh, and leaders like Chamberlain genuinely believed they were buying peace. The tragedy is that instead of preventing war, appeasement gave Hitler the time and confidence to prepare for one. Today, the word appeasement is almost synonymous with failure, but it also serves as a lesson. Sometimes, avoiding conflict at all costs can have even greater consequences. How appeasement failed, not just as a policy, but as a warning to future generations about the dangers of underestimating aggression. So, what do you think? Could appeasement ever work, or was it doomed from the start? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this dive into history, or if you just want to appease me, hit that subscribe button. Also, I'd love to hear your feedback. What can I do to improve these videos and make them even better? Let me know below.